I'm Josh Paulison, and this is Inspector Josh Investigates TV. I study TV shows for writing lessons based on what the writers did right and where the script hit the fan. Yeah, I already know I did that one, but I liked it a lot, so maybe that'll be the norm. I don't know. And today, we are looking at Parks and Recreation, Season 2, Episode 10, Hunting Trip. Warning, spoilers are ahead. If you are like me and you hate spoilers, then you are like me and you should stop listening right now. We're going to talk about whys, and something that this episode did very well at was having practical whys. And these were not things that didn't fit with the characters. These weren't things that were just random and happenstance. They really fit effectively with the characters, with the scenario, and they flowed very smoothly. A lot of times when we want something to happen in a story, we try to come up with this really convoluted system to make that happen. And I think that's really fun and cool. But in this episode, the reasons were very practical and straightforward. So some of the different whys in the episode. Well, why did Leslie Knope get to come along on the hunting trip? Because it was technically work-related and Ron couldn't keep her from coming. And then why did everyone else go? Well, because Leslie was able to go, and so I assume that they kind of followed her along. But it seemed to match well with the characters, and you can bet that behind the scenes, Leslie would be like, hey, everybody, we're going, and other people would come along too. Why did Leslie Knope cover up for Tom later on when he was the one who shot Ron in the head? Well, because Tom didn't have his hunting license, and Leslie happened to know somehow. Now, this isn't that unbelievable, and there was actually a slight piece of what I would consider foreshadowing earlier, where you see Leslie giving Anne a hunting license. Now, you can bet that most of the people there had their hunting licenses. Ron had his, and the other guys who normally went would have had theirs. But it matches very well with Tom's character. And also the way that you see him handling the gun and all of that, it makes a lot of sense. And it fits very well with the characters. And so in this episode, the whys really made sense. And again, they were not convoluted. And so as writers, I would say when we want to have something happen, look in the simple places first. Try not to overcomplicate it and look beyond the obvious. Maybe you're trying to figure out, well, my character needs to go into this dark and spooky cave. Why would they? Well, maybe you want to try to come up with this internal emotional reason that they justify it. Or you could just have it hail golf balls and have a ton of wind so that they have to get into that cave or they're going to get bruised all over. Maybe you want two characters to start dating and you're like, well, you know what? I want them to start dating, but they aren't really connecting at all. How can I make this happen? Well, you could have it so that they're hanging out with a group of friends and a lot of them cancel. Maybe you could have it so that they end up going to hang out with some friends and they don't have everyone's numbers yet. The people who are setting up the event end up leaving them behind. Maybe it's just happenstance and they happen to sit in two seats at a concert or at a movie. It doesn't have to be something crazy. You don't have to try to get all of these internal things going. You can just look at what is a simple, practical way for this to happen. Now, with this episode, it was very fitting for the characters. I'm not saying to not have your characters be themselves. What I am saying is, don't overcomplicate things. The path for this episode was so simple, and it worked so awesomely. Case closed. Thank you for listening. We'll be back with another investigation tomorrow. Follow me on Twitter or check out my other great story resources on my website. You can find links to each in the episode description. Music by Comfortable Mystery 4 by Kevin MacLeod, Incompetech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. You can find more information in the episode description.